So, what exactly is a smart city?
Well, it can be all kinds of different things, but there are two basic ideas. One is that the city uses technology to improve the quality of life of the local residents so that they can live more slowly and with less stress. And the second one is that the city itself reacts to problems, sort of like a living person would.
Can you give me some examples?
Yes, London is a good example. They have a system where they monitor cars driving into the city center and automatically charge the driver for the time the car spends there. So it cuts down on traffic congestion and pollution, but it also means the driver doesn't have to stop and buy a ticket or look for money, so it saves time too. And to use the public transportation system, you just need a single card, and you can go everywhere with it. So you don't need to spend time standing in line for tickets. And in Mexico City, they are fighting air pollution and traffic congestion by not only using building materials that eat smog, but they are also building fewer parking spaces. This is to encourage people to give up their cars and use public transportation or ride bicycles. They also have thousands of public bicycles for people to use.
So, the main point of smart cities is to improve the environment?
Yes, but it can take many different forms. It's not just about traffic congestion. For example, there's a new city in the UAE called Masdar. It's in the middle of the desert, and the whole city is powered by solar panels, and public transportation is electric. So it's a 100% sustainable city. It uses zero energy, and there's no air pollution. There's another new city called Songdo in South Korea, which is planned around a central park to encourage time spent in green spaces and using more public transportation. So from all the residential areas, there's a 15-minute walk across the park to get to work, and people can also use the park on their lunch break. They also have many green buildings and recycle garbage to make electricity.
So, it's not just about the environment, it's about urban development in general?
Yes, exactly.
And do you think this is how cities will be in the future?
Oh, I'm sure of it. The technology is there already. We're all connected now on the internet, so the next step is to connect the people with the city, and it's already happening very quickly.
Daniela.
I love my smart city, Bogota in Colombia. Since 1974, busy city streets have been closed off to traffic every Sunday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. for ciclovia. This event makes the city center a pedestrian zone so that people can ride their bikes everywhere and spend more time outside. Ciclovia is now celebrated in many cities around the world, but it started here and is an inspiration to celebrate clean air and exercising outside. Bogota also has a rapid bus system that covers 75% of the city. People are encouraged to take public transportation more, drive less, and ride bicycles more. We still have problems with air pollution and congested traffic, but I hope Bogota continues to make progress as a smart city of the future.
Richard.
I don't think you have to design a city to make it a nice place to live. I live in Bangkok, the capital of Thailand. In some ways, it's a very chaotic city. There are cars everywhere, a lot of traffic jams and noise, and there are very few green spaces where you can sit, so if you want peace and quiet, forget it. But I love living here. It's so full of life and there are people everywhere. On the street where I live, there are numerous ordinary apartments, plus a few hotels. There's a very good vegetable market. There are various restaurants, and there are people selling things in the street. So there's everything you need, plus nonstop traffic, of course. They are working on adding high-speed public transportation, but it has a long way to go before traffic congestion gets better. Even if it isn't a smart city yet, it's very exciting to live here.
Antonia.
As with most things in life, I started small. Not long after I bought this apartment, I suddenly decided that the cabinet in the kitchen was ugly. It was modern and beige, and I couldn't stand it. A few days later, I found this absolutely gorgeous old wooden cabinet from the 1920s in a secondhand store. I pulled out the original cabinet and replaced it with the one I found. And then everything looked wrong. I also discovered that the original fireplace and chimney were covered up, and underneath were these lovely old red bricks. The cover had to come off. Then the paint job looked just awful, and so it went on. Now I have a beautiful home-style kitchen. I'm really satisfied with that. But I wasn't at all satisfied with the layout of the dining room and the living room. They were two very small rooms. And I thought, just imagine, knock down the dividing wall and I could have this wonderful open living space. So, one weekend, I got busy and the wall came down. I still have some work to do there. Then there's the bedroom. I haven't had time yet. And the bathroom needs major attention. Okay, I admit it, I'm addicted to renovation. I can't help myself. I love doing these things myself. Getting it done by a professional isn't nearly as much fun. But hey, there are worse things to be addicted to, and my apartment's looking better and better every day.
Rob.
You see, behind our house, there was a kind of storage room and a garage. And there was also a small alley between the two. They're the kinds of places where we keep things we no longer use. But I suddenly had this great idea. What if I knocked down a few walls and made the storage room and garage one big area? A playroom that the kids could use as their space. I got a friend of mine who's an engineer to have a look and make sure it was possible. I didn't want the house to fall down. And he said, sure, no problem. And I've helped a lot of friends and family do this kind of thing in the past. Like, I have a pretty good idea about what to do. So, I had this great weekend where I knocked down the walls. I loved that. You can really see the potential immediately. The problem is, once you knock something down, you have to build something in its place so it doesn't look like a work site. But, well, things have been busy at work, and on weekends there are so many things to do with the kids, taking them to sports practice and stuff like that. I fully intend to finish it all. That's what I keep promising my wife. But she thinks I have a commitment problem. She thinks I'm not committed to finishing the renovation. Maybe she's right, but these things aren't as easy as they look. I suppose I could have it done by a professional, but that's expensive. I just say that it's a work in progress. It'll get there, eventually.
Can you help me move this love seat and bookshelf?
Sure. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good now.
Which lampshade do you like better, the brown one or the blue?
I think the blue.
Okay. And how about 2 more throw pillows?
I think we have enough pillows, don't you?
I guess. I just want this to look like a cozy living room.
It does. You're really good at interior design. I think anyone would be lucky to get their room designed by you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I just love working in this furniture store and setting up the displays. There aren't a lot of jobs where you get to be creative, you know?
That's true. But have you ever done set design?
You mean designing rooms in movies? No. Have you?
Yeah, I worked on a set for a TV show once. It was so much fun.
That sounds exciting.
It was. But working on TV shows can be so stressful, and the schedule isn't regular enough for me. Anyway, I need to go now. My roommate and I are looking for a new apartment.
Okay. Good luck.
Hi, Arun. Sorry I'm late. I was helping Tanya after work.
That's okay. This is Katie West. She's a real estate agent.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Brian.
Very nice to meet you, Brian. So, I'll show you the first apartment. We've had a lot of interest in this one already. As you can see, it's in a great location, right by all the stores, close to the subway. Follow me.
Great.
Here it is. It's a nice apartment for 2 people. Not too big. 2 bedrooms, 1 for each of you.
2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom?
Yes, 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a small living room.
Okay.
So here's the living room. It's cozy, but it has a nice view of the street. And here's the first bedroom and the second bedroom. It's a little smaller than the first, but it's quiet. And here's the kitchen. It's practical and, well, yeah, it has everything you need for a kitchen. It's very convenient. I'll let you discuss it.
Well, I can see why the price is low.
It's so small. That second bedroom isn't big enough.
Yeah, and it's too noisy. Right on the main road.
Yeah, such a shame. It's so close to downtown.
Yes, too bad.
Well, let's see what the next one's like.
So what do you think?
Yeah, it's not really what we're looking for.
That's okay. Moving on. This one's just come up for rent. I think you might like it better. Have a look around and see what you think.
Thanks. This one's nice. Think we can afford it?
Well, it's a pretty cool place. And with my promotion, I have more money now. I could pay more for the bigger bedroom.
Look, this could be a separate living area by the window.
Yeah, we could put some plants and bookshelves there, or a big lamp.
Yeah, that would work.
And this would make a great dining area. We could have a table and some cool lights.
Yeah, and I can imagine a big TV right here.
So what do you think?
Yeah, it's a great space.
Well, we have had some other people looking this morning, so if you're definitely interested...
We'll think about it. Can we let you know this afternoon?
Of course, no problem.
Renee. I think it's a really bad idea. What do we need a shopping mall for? I mean, we have a local store that sells a really good variety of things. Anything you need in an emergency. There's also a grocery store only about 2 kilometers away, and it's so easy to get there by bus. A mall's going to ruin this neighborhood. Why can't they create a nice green living space instead?
Susie.
I think it's great. It's going to be really convenient to have plenty of shops nearby. If I have to do anything, like, I don't know, go to the grocery store or get my hair done or something, I have to go into town, and with traffic, it takes such a long time. I can't wait for them to build the mall. It's exciting.
Cecilia.
Well, I am looking forward to having a variety of stores nearby. There aren't enough in this part of town. But I know it will change the neighborhood. It'll make it a lot busier and noisier. And there'll be so much traffic. But I guess that's the price you pay for convenience.
David.
The idea of a mall doesn't particularly bother me, but I guess there'll be a large number of the same old stores, very boring. Everything's part of a chain these days. I wouldn't mind so much if they had a few more interesting shops in the mall. You know, something like an independent music store or something. But I know that won't happen.
Miles.
Well, it's about time. That local store we have is useless. They never order enough of anything, and they're always running out of milk and bread and basic things like that. But a new grocery store and a lot of other stores, that's progress. It'll be great.
Marion.
It's going to completely change the community. I mean, a number of families live in this part of town, and we have young children. Apart from the traffic, we'll have so many people passing through our streets. I really don't know how safe it'll be to live here. It's just, well, I'm thinking about my children. I want them to be safe.
Michael.
Welcome to this week's edition of The Money Pool. Today we've invited personal finance expert Mia Ray on the show to answer questions about your money. Hi, Mia.
Hello, Michael.
And welcome.
Thank you.
The number is 212-555-4396. Give us a call now with your personal finance question, but I believe we already have Jacob on the line.
Hello, Mia and Michael.
Hello, Jacob.
So, Jacob, you have a question about savings goals, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. My income's okay, and I more or less manage to keep up with my bills and everything, but I never seem to get ahead. I'd like to start saving for a home, but it feels like a waste of time.
Okay, Jacob. I noticed that you said you more or less keep up with your bills. What's your biggest monthly bill?
Well, probably my credit card.
Thought so.
But I always pay at least the minimum amount each month, sometimes a bit more.
Do you mind my asking, Jacob, how much do you owe on your credit card?
Well, it's about $10,000.
And I imagine you're paying about 18% interest.
Yeah, about that.
Okay, here's what I'd suggest you do, Jacob. Find another credit card provider who will let you transfer your balance to them and pay a very low interest rate. If you transfer your balance, you'll probably pay as little as 3%. And then start paying off that debt as fast as you can. The first step to serious savings is to get out of debt.
Right.
And then I'd like you to do something else. Get a pair of scissors and cut up your new credit card.
You mean get rid of it?
That's right, so you don't use it.
But if I did that, I wouldn't be able to afford things like new clothes and going out to dinner.
Well, no. It looks like you might have to make some lifestyle changes too, Jacob. You can save a lot of money by eating at home and shopping for clothes on sale. But the first step is to manage your debt sensibly. Okay?
Yeah, good point. Thanks.
Thank you for calling us, Jacob. So now we go to Sophie. Sounds like she has money to spare. Is that right, Sophie?
Hello?
Yes, hello, Sophie. You're on the air now.
Oh, right.
How can I help, Sophie?
Well, I just want a little advice, really. I've been putting aside money for the past 5 years or so. I have savings of just over $17,500 in a long-term interest account, and it's earning about 2.5%. But I worry if this is the best place for it. Should I be investing the money somewhere else?
So tell me, Sophie, do you have any debts?
Not really. Well, just my student loan. But money gets taken out of my salary for that. It's automatic, kind of like paying tax.
But you're still paying interest on that loan. If I were you, I'd use the money to pay off your student loan.
But if I did that, I wouldn't have any spare money, for an emergency.
$17,500. What kind of emergency are you expecting?
Well, I don't know.
Look, it sounds to me like you're a pretty sensible person when it comes to money. And I always say before you worry about investment, free yourself from debt.
Actually, I think my student loan is now about $16,000. If I pay it off, I'll be debt-free.
And that's a very good thing to be.
Well, I think I would have looked inside the wallet and then I would have emailed the person whose name appeared on the business cards. I would have told him or her that someone had found the wallet and that we were keeping it for them. Or possibly, if I'd been an employee at the hotel, I would have told the manager what had happened and the hotel would have done the right thing. I mean, that's the hotel's responsibility, isn't it? I certainly wouldn't have taken the money. It didn't belong to me. Obviously, the person should have been more careful, but taking the money would have been theft. So it certainly wouldn't have been right to take the money.
Well, I think I would have taken the wallet and would have looked inside it. And then I would have thought about it. Maybe I would have taken some of the money for myself. I would have been tempted, certainly, especially if I was in a low-paid job. Maybe I'm just not a very honest person, but I would have thought, well, it wasn't my mistake, the person shouldn't have lost it. Also, the owner of the wallet would get his or her wallet back because of me, so I think it would have been reasonable for me to earn a little money from that, too.
Actually, I wouldn't have accepted the wallet in the first place. Why should I? I would have told the person who came in with the wallet to take it to the police, or maybe to deal with it on their own. If it wasn't actually found in the hotel, I don't think it would really have been my responsibility. Also, I'd never take something a stranger tries to give me. You never know what might be in it, or what could happen. It could be something they've stolen. Or it could have been some kind of scam, someone trying to distract me while they stole something from me.
Did you hear about the trial of that company director?
Oh, you mean the one who was accused of bribery. I knew he'd been arrested. What happened?
It was incredible. He appeared in court yesterday and 5 witnesses all gave evidence. They all said he had asked them for bribes.
Wow. So what was the verdict? Was he found guilty?
No, the jury said he was not guilty.
What did the judge say?
Nothing. She didn't sentence him. She let him go free.
That's a little strange, isn't it?
Hi, Craig. The recruiter just called me back.
And?
I didn't get the job. They chose someone else. They liked my skills, but didn't think I was the right fit.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Natasha.
Me too.
That's really disappointing.
I know. I really prepared a lot for the interview, too. And it was just for an administrative assistant position.
Don't worry, it's not your fault. They just chose the wrong person.
Yeah. I'll send out some more resumes now.
Good idea. I'm sure there'll be plenty of other jobs. You'll find something.
I hope so. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye, Natasha. I'm heading off to work now.
Okay, Serena.
What's wrong?
Oh, job hunting, you know.
Yeah, it's never easy. Don't give up hope. You'll find something.
Yeah. You look very professional. What's the big occasion?
I have to give a presentation at work.
Oh, scary.
Well, if I want to impress my boss, I really need to be confident.
Yeah, I know how that is.
Yeah, I mean, if I do badly, it makes my boss look bad in front of her boss. That kind of thing.
Well, you're prepared for it, aren't you?
Yeah, better than I thought.
You'll do great.
I hope so.
I'm sure you will. Good luck.
Thanks.
Craig,
Hi, Natasha. What's up?
Remember that job I interviewed for and didn't get?
Yes, the administrative assistant position?
Yeah, that one. Well, the recruiter called me back, and they offered me a different position.
Wow, that's great. What's the new position?
I'm going to be a marketing assistant. I'll get to write social media posts.
Congratulations. When do you start?
This Friday.
So soon. You know, it was just like that when I got my current job. Bam! They wanted me to work the next day. I felt kind of rushed.
The same thing happened to me.
It's difficult looking for jobs, isn't it? One day you're unemployed and sad, and the next day everything changes.
I know the feeling. Oh, I'm excited for my first day.
I'm happy for you. Now, I've got to get back to work. Talk to you later.
Oh, right. Get to work. Bye.
Hello, Natasha. It's Jessica here from Media Makers. Thanks for coming in to interview earlier. A new position has just come up, and we think you might be right for it. Can you call me back at 555-249-4566?
Hi, Jessica. Hi, it's Natasha Weber here. Yes, I just got your voicemail.
Did you see that reality crime show on TV last night?
The one about the young woman using the old man's credit card to buy things for herself?
Yeah. It made me really angry. It was like a lesson on how to commit a crime. You know, get friendly with the old person, get them to trust you, and then offer to get a credit card for them. I mean, if you show people this stuff, then other people will just copy what that young woman did.
Do you think so? But it showed you'll get caught and arrested in the end.
That's only because the old man's niece happened to see the credit card statement and notice all those purchases for women's clothing.
Actually, what amazed me about that is the way the niece spoke to the young woman first. If it had been me, I'd have gone straight to the police.
But I still think the whole show was kind of saying it's okay to do this. Like the interview with the young woman. She had all this makeup on, a beautiful dress. It was like she was some kind of star or something. I couldn't believe it.
That's true, and they hardly spoke to the old man. Poor thing, he looked terrified by the whole experience of being on camera.
Exactly. He really didn't want to be on TV. I thought the host was really pushy with him. She kept repeating the same question. But didn't you realize? Didn't you realize?
But he must have agreed to it all. They usually have to sign something for those TV shows.
I bet it was the niece who talked him into it. She seemed to enjoy being on TV, too. That's the problem with shows like that. All these boring, ordinary people turn into famous people. Well, for about 5 minutes anyway.
But I guess you could say that the show was like a warning to people. You know, telling them to be careful who they trust with their money, credit cards, things like that.
Hardly.
But the host did say that at the very end.
Yeah, I suppose so. But the saddest thing of all, the old man still thought the young woman was a nice girl.
And the host did point out that many thieves are very charming.
But doesn't everyone know that?
Obviously not. If I were you, I wouldn't watch that show anymore.